Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Active Life Infusion online streaming classes with Nikki. Good to see you again. Haven't been here for 3 weeks because of Christmas and New Year. So I hope you've been able to keep yourself active with all the classes that are available. We've got a few minutes until the rest of the people might join, so it will give you time to get bits of kit. I will remind everybody in a few minutes as well. If you've got a chair handy, I would have that. Bricks and blocks, yoga bricks and blocks, if you've got those, then grab those. If you don't have things like that, no panic. You can use bricks. You might not even need to use them anyway, but bricks, books, thick books, if you've got something to use instead. If you don't have a block to sit on and you know you tend to be a bit stiffer into the hips for when you sit in positions like cross-legged position, then a folded thick towel or a blanket would be ideal. A woven blanket is best so it doesn't slip around, rather than a fleece if you've got the choice. If you haven't, then obviously just use what you have, or a cushion. Cushion works fine. A couple of pillows. Anything like that you think might be handy. You've got plenty of time. I'm just checking the clock to grab all of those things. Now, there was a little change in the time for my classes to 10 o'clock. So you may be getting this on catch up later, which is absolutely fine. If you want to join in when it's live, then you can just below the screen, there should be a subscribe button that you can press there as a reminder, and then you won't miss out each week when we come up. Okay, and there's lots and lots of choice, as I've said before. Aerotone, mature stretch, bit of Zumba. We all like a bit of Zumba. Body pump. I think there's HIIT training. Oh, it's like a generation game, trying to remember what else is on. But it's all there anyway for you to check. And as I say, I'm here every Friday now at 10 o'clock for the hour. So we're going to look at some twists today. I thought because maybe over Christmas and New Year you might have been sitting down a little bit more. It's good to get the back moving again. I know for me, if I am inactive, then I start to get little gripes. I feel a bit stiffer. Oh, who have we got online? Hello, Natasha. And the twists are really great for sort of keeping everything moving. Doesn't mean they'll necessarily be easy, some of them for you to do. So you can always repeat the ones at the beginning of the class, which I try and make really, really inclusive for everybody. I know this is yoga for all, but obviously that means that we've got people that are less experienced and stiffer going right through to people that have lots of experience and are maybe very bendy. So I'm trying to sort of give you a choice of things to do. So especially if you're watching this not live, you've recorded it, saved it, then you can always press the pause button and repeat some of the twists again, as I say that I do at the beginning, and just stick with those if it feels best. Okay, just take it easy on your body, particularly in these a little bit more stressful times. You might have a little bit of tension in your body and you want to be nice to yourself. That's why we're here, not to feel like you've been punishing yourself necessarily. Okay, so we've got a few seconds to go. So if you want to make sure that you've got your mat somewhere that you've got plenty of room to stretch out. If you weren't here a moment ago when I said we will be using a chair today, and some bricks and blocks handy if you have those. If you don't, then thick books, something that you can lean on, even if it's like a small table, anything like that, that might help you when we're bending over and you're not able to touch the floor. Okay, so if you want to come down to your mat now, we'll make a start. So starting with the usual warm up. Just lying down on your back, on your mat, relax the arms just a little way from the sides. Just check, first of all, that you've got enough room to stretch your arms over your head. You don't want to be crashing and bashing into the furniture or any pets. And then relax the arms and the shoulders. You could have the knees bent as I've got here, or the legs flat. It's entirely up to you. And then we're just breathing through the nose if possible. Being aware of the rise and fall of your abdomen with your breath. So if you're a little bit newer to yoga and you're not sure you can feel that, you could place your hands onto your abdomen And we're not forcing the abdomen to rise and fall. We're just allowing it to drop down, maybe a little squeeze with the abdomen towards the spine as you exhale. And then when you let that squeeze go, the abdomen rises. And so on. So really trying to slow the breath down by releasing into the natural pause between each breath. Pause at the end of the exhalation is slightly longer. So just observe your breath. And then don't rush to take the next breath in, just wait till it comes. Excuse me. And let your body feel heavy. Okay, so starting off nice and easy, all we're going to do as you breathe out is just roll the head slowly to one side. And as you breathe in, bring it back to center. Follow your breath, repeat other side. So just loosening off into the neck. Once more each side. And then ready for a nice little stretch now. So have the legs flat if we can, and the legs together. Inhale, lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhaling them over the head. So don't worry if the arms won't go very close to the head. Take them as wide as you need. And then as you breathe in, point the toes. Tighten the buttocks, stretching into your fingertips. And softening as you breathe out. Second stretch, we're going to flex the feet so the toes are up. Inhale, push the heels away this time. Stretch and slowly release. And then you can bring the arms down, bending the knees. And then hugging the knees up to the chest, knees apart. One hand on each knee, you can have a little rock side to side. Now at this point, if you've still got your socks on, best that you take those off. And we're placing the feet down onto the mat. And we want a big gap between the feet. Take the arms wide, palms upward. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, slowly drop the knees over to the right side, keeping a decent gap between the feet. And turn your head to the left. Allow the legs to feel heavy. And just breathe. On the inhalation, coming back to center. Exhaling other side. So you may feel a bit of a stretch down the front of the thigh, particularly on the top leg, so that'll be the right leg this side. Inhale, we're coming back to center. Okay, sliding the left leg flat. And bring the right knee into the chest, holding the knee. Now, you can keep the knee bent if it's a bit stiff into your leg or your hip, okay, if you're very new. Or you could take the knee out to the side and stretch out the leg. Either way, we're going to circle the knee or the leg, big circles if we can, right across the body. And you want 3 each way. Don't forget to breathe. the same leg, 3 each way. Might be a bit clunky, don't worry. Slide the leg flat when you finish, give it a wriggle out, and then you can do the same other side. When you've done each side, again, a wriggle out with the legs, and then bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop open. Supta Baddha Konasana. You could take the arms wide or closer to the head if the shoulders allow for that. Try and relax into the inside of the legs and the hips. You could slide the feet further away if that's comfortable, or draw the feet in closer. And again, nice deep breaths. Next exhalation, sliding the feet away along the mat. Give the legs a good stretch. And then bend the knees. Okay, so just allowing the lower back to release in towards the floor. So I've got a decent gap between the feet. And then I'm going to lift the arms towards the ceiling. So although we're doing twists today, that's our focus. We're still doing some other stretches just to loosen up generally. So this is for the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the upper back. So make sure the shoulders are resting on the floor and the palms are facing each other. So as you breathe in, reach the arms towards the ceiling. So you're getting a stretch between the shoulders. Chest is working. Exhale, we bring the shoulders back to the floor. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, release back to the ground. Okay, 3 more with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale, release. 2. Last one. Good, and then relax the arms wide. Okay, so similar stretch now with just the one arm, and we're going to bring that into a bit more of a twist. So we're going to reach up with the right arm, really stretch for the ceiling, feel the shoulder lifting. As you exhale, reach across past the left hand if we can. Keep the right hand down and slide it along the left arm over the chest as we come back to the floor. Other side, inhale, reach up, stretch, exhale across. Slide the hand along the right arm, over the chest, and back out to the side. Okay, 3 more, each side. Inhale up. Excuse me, exhale across, all the way back. Very good, last one. On each side, getting that little twist from the top down. When you've done your last one with the left arm reaching over, just relax the shoulders, relax through the back. And now we're going to twist from the base up. So we're going to bring the knees up to the chest now, and you want the knees together. Still with the arms wide, palms upward. So feel like you're squeezing the knees together. And when we take the legs to the side, concentrate on tucking the knees up towards the arm rather than getting close to the ground. If you can do both, that's great, but concentrate on the tuck up. Nice breath in. Exhale, take the knees to the right. Inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, other side. Inhale, we're coming up. Okay, twice more each side. You may get some clicking, cracking through the back. That's normal. If it's very strong, just minimize the number of times you're doing it. Maybe don't go so far over. When you've done your last one to the left, placing the feet down onto the mat. Nice big gap between the feet. And then I want you to bring your hands to feel the front of your pelvis. So have the elbows resting onto the floor, and we're going to do some tilts with the pelvis. Okay, so anterior and posterior tilt. So nice deep breath in, feel the abdomen expand. On the exhalation, squeezing the abs towards the spine, and then press the small of the back toward the floor. On the inhalation, press the tailbone down, feel the lower back arching slightly. And then we repeat following the breath. Exhale, squeezing the abs. Top of the pelvis tipping back. And on the inhalation, top of the pelvis tips forward. Anterior tilt. And so on. Keep it going, just follow your breath. So just easing out through the lower back, working the internal muscles, pulling up the pelvic floor each time you exhale. Next time you exhale, make that your last time. Resting at neutral after that, and just breathe normally. Then you can roll onto your side and coming up to sitting. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we'll need a chair. We're going to start off on the chair, and when we come to the floor for the seated poses, then if it's difficult for you to sit up tall as I'm doing here because your knees tend to stick up and then you're rounding the back like this, then you could repeat the ones on the chair again, because we're doing them on the chair first, then to the floor. It's the same twist really, but we are just making it that bit harder by sitting on the floor, because what we want is an upright pelvis and an upright back. So it's that anterior tip of the pelvis where it's coming forward. So everything is nicely in line. Okay, so I want to grab your chair now, bringing it to your mat. Okay, I'm actually going to place the chair side on. Now, if, like me, you're a bit shorter, and it really depends on the length of your legs and the height of your chair seat. This one isn't too bad, actually, because it's quite squashy, so I'm realizing I can get my feet on the floor. But if you're sitting and your feet are not flat, so your heels are up, say like this, then you could place your blocks, bricks, whatever you've got, like that underneath the feet, so the feet are definitely down, because that's what we want, is an upright back. You don't want to feel like you're tipping off the chair, but I'm not going to use those today. Okay, so we're lengthening through the spine, sitting really tall, and then I want you to bring the legs together. Again, squeezing the legs together. And then what we're going to do is take the hands and hold on to the chair back. Now, the arm that's going furthest back, so the one that's nearest the chair back at the moment, we tend to hunch that shoulder in this twist if we don't think about what we're doing. So keep that pushing down as you take the arm back. Okay, other hand holding the side nearest to you, sit tall, and then we're using the chair back to help you twist around, keeping that nice straight back, and breathe. Keep squeezing the knees together. So these are really useful for those of you that are maybe now working at home. Maybe you haven't got the correct chair, the back can get a bit stiff if you're hunched over the dining room table rather than a proper height desk and chair, etc. And these are safe for everybody to do. Nicely open through the abdomen so you can breathe easily, and you can get that resistance by holding on to the chair back. Okay, next time you breathe in, come back to center. Okay, so take the blocks with you if you need them, and you're going all the way around to the other side of the chair to do the opposite direction. Okay, so we're sitting up nice and tall. As I say, the arm that's going furthest back, don't hunch that shoulder, push it down. Hold on to the chair back, both hands. Exhale to twist. Really helping us around and squeezing the knees together. If your neck's okay, looking over that back shoulder, and breathe. So if you have difficulty getting to the floor, problems with your back, general stiffness, mobility issues, these are really good on the chair as well. I found these really useful when I had my back injury, which likes to remind me every now and again. And then, you want something that's simple but effective. On the inhalation, returning to center. Lovely. Okay, so now what we're going to do is sit on the chair as you would normally sit on the chair at the front. Okay, so twists, I just like to remind everybody, better to be held for a few breaths and repeated rather than held for too many breaths. We don't want to bring in tension, because the stronger the twist we go into, the more they tend to restrict the breathing, and therefore the blood pressure rises, etc. So some twists are not suitable for people that have high blood pressure. All of these ones that I'm doing here are fine. And I've come to appreciate them myself because of stiffness in my back. So even if you find them hard, what I would say is, as long as you're not getting actual pain, persevere with it. Just do a little bit, little and often is the best idea. So we want the legs in the center to start off with, and then you're going to cross one leg over the other at the thigh, just like you would normally. Opposite arm to the top leg comes across, and we're using the resistance of the back of that arm against the leg. Other hand can go to the back of your chair, and then we're twisting towards the back hand. Again, you can use resistance here because you can push against your leg. It's a little bit stronger than the last one, and you may feel a stretch into the outer part of the hip. Keep breathing. Again, turn the chin, look over the shoulder towards the back of the chair if you're able. Trying to bring the breath down to the base of the lungs. A bit more difficult now. On the inhalation, returning center. Okay, ready for the other side. Very good. You can tell I've got short legs. I have a real problem getting the leg across. Okay, so other arm coming across the leg, and we're holding onto the back of the chair, twisting around towards the back hand. Nice breaths. May feel like you're trying to untwist a little bit as you breathe in deeply. That's obviously because the lungs are trying to straighten everything out. As they inflate, then they need room. And as the rib cage expands, everything tries to make it easy, and that's untwisting. So really push into it as you exhale. On the inhalation next time, releasing center. Very good. Okay, uncrossing the leg, and we're going to take the legs wide. Now, again, depending on the length of your legs and the height of your chair, your legs may go straighter than mine as you take them out. I would fall off my chair if I do that, because I'm just going to slide off the front edge. So you just make it comfortable for you. Definitely want to have the feet down, and you just pick a leg, as long as it's yours, hand inside the leg, and then the other hand behind the waist. So we lengthen through the spine. That's always what we want on a twist, is a long spine. And then we're twisting towards the back hand. Use the back of your hand against the inside of the leg to help you round. And then just hold that position. So thinking about maybe your shoulders are now in line with that leg that you've got the hand inside of. If you want to go a little bit further, we slowly start to slide the hand down the inside of that leg. So we're getting a side stretch as well as a twist. Now, as you go down, we don't want what is now that top shoulder to drop forward, this one. We keep working that back, look towards it or past it to the ceiling. You don't have to go to the floor. Some of you will go to the floor. That's absolutely fine. If you want extra, the back arm, and watch your balance, reach up to the ceiling, lengthen out of that side. and breathe. But this one we will be repeating later, but on the floor. Inhale, we're coming up and center. Very good. Okay, other side. Hand behind the waist. So remember, each side may feel different, so we're twisting away from the hand inside of the leg. Either stay here or slide the hand down the inside of the leg. Going as low as you like. Keep that top shoulder rotating back. Look to the ceiling. Don't let the head just dangle. If you want the extra, reach up with the back arm and breathe. If it hurts your neck, look down at the foot on the side that you're leaning towards. So it's a bit like Trikonasana in that way. Inhale, we're rising and center. So often it's coming out of these stretches, which feels quite strong. Big shoulder rolls back. Just loosen everything into the upper back. And then a couple forward. Great. Okay, and then we're coming to standing. All right, so I'm going to turn my chair side on again now. Now, because I've got two mats, I'm going to be having my feet on the mat, but the chair is in front of me. So that's the arrangement that you want. So I'll give you a moment to sort out where you need to be. Now, those of you that know me, which some of you are online, I can see, hello. You know that I'm not so tall, and these chairs are, pretty regular height. If you're very tall, and I'm talking like 6 foot odd, okay, then the chair will potentially, unless you're very loose, is going to be too low. You could use bricks and blocks on top of the chair to raise the height of the chair if you need it, if you're tighter, taller, or both, okay. If, like me, you're shorter, looser, we will be doing it on the chair first and then going to the floor for the second time, okay. So I'm facing the chair, feet are wide, feet are parallel. You want a really big gap between the feet. That will make it easier for you. Keep the thighs nice and firm. Now, if you take one hand onto the front of the abdomen and one onto the back of the abdomen, that anterior tilt that we did earlier, where the top of the pelvis is coming forward, that's what we want as we bend. So you'll feel the stretch already potentially up the backs of the legs, and taking your elbows onto the chair. If you're over 6 foot, it may be the hand onto the chair, okay, and you get just the same stretch. Hold that position for a moment, let the legs adjust. Now, when we do the twist, because we're demanding a lot of the back, it will also travel through the pelvis, and the demand then goes down the leg that we're twisting away from. So in this case, it will be my right leg that's furthest away from you. So I'm going to bring my right elbow now to the center of the chair seat, and the left hand I'm going to take behind the back. Twist towards the left, turning the chest, keeping the spine long. You may feel more of a stretch into the right leg. Keep breathing. Hold that position. So really trying to work through the thighs. Looking good. Hello, Marie. Okay, and then bring it back. Switch it over to the other side. Right hand behind the waist, twisting to the right. Hold it for a few breaths. Make sure you're working the legs firmly. Feet are flat, not rolling to the outer edges. Very good. Okay, bring it back. We're repeating, adding on if we can. So now we're twisting to the left. If you feel okay, try and keep the left arm in line with the shoulder and raise the arm towards the ceiling. It may not go all the way up. Okay, have the palm of the hand facing the same direction as your chest. Keep smiling. And then bring it down. We're swapping over. And twisting with the hand behind the back. Once we're there, raising the arm. So you can see, if you're looking at the screen now, that my arm doesn't go as high this side because I'm very stiff when I twist this way. And then slowly bring it back. Okay, come up to standing just for a moment. Now you can either repeat those again, or we make it a bit stronger by removing the chair. So I'm moving that forward. You could do an in-between stage where you've got bricks and you could pile those up in place of the chair like this, because that's still lower than the chair. So they still want to be a good distance forward if you're using the props, okay? Again, that anterior tip of the pelvis, you can have the hands on the top, so it's hands, not elbows this time. Or if you're looser, you know, go all the way to the floor if you prefer. So I've got my right hand down with my left hand on top, fingers pointing forward towards the direction of the crown of my head. Exhale, we're going to take left arm out and up. Rework the right leg so it doesn't bend. Inhale, we bring it down. Swap it over. Exhale. Other side. Press into the lower hand. Reach into the top hand. Again, inhale, bring it down. Exhale to twist. Once more. Inhale down. Exhale, twist. And inhale to bring it down. Very good. Okay, coming up to standing. Legs are together. Paddle out through the legs. That was great. Now we're going to come down to the mat now. And this is where having the props would be useful. So if you know that you're sitting on the floor is not good for you, repeat all of the ones on the chair that we did before, particularly if you're watching this later. Press pause, rewind, just do those again. Absolutely fine. Okay, coming to sit on a block or a folded blanket, something like that. And we're sitting right to the front edge. Pull the flesh back from the sitting bones. And if the knees are sticking up and it's helpful, you could use bricks like this, or books, pillows, anything. If you've got enough stretch, the knees drop down, you can take the knees a little bit wider apart. Okay, now the leg that's in front, we're going to twist towards that side. So the matching hand to this leg, take it behind you, fingertips just coming to the floor. Other arm coming across to the outside of the front leg. Lift the chest, breathing in. Exhale, twisting towards the backhand. Keep breathing. As I say, it may feel like it wants to untwist you on the inhalation. So really get a bit of extra on the exhalation, pushing round. Inhale back to center. Then we're going to change the legs over to the other side. Okay, so other leg in front, adjusting so it's comfortable. You can see mine are a slightly different position on this side because I'm a bit stiffer in this left hip. So left hand behind, right hand across, sit tall, exhale to twist. On the inhalation, coming back to center. Okay, so leave the legs as they are. And now we're going to do the same twist, but in a slightly different way, and it will work the back differently. Now, when we twist with the arm coming across, because you've got that resistance, you can push with the arm. I like it personally because I feel like I can get a good twist through. But it doesn't show a true representation of how far you're able to use your muscles to twist yourself around. So we're going to bring the arms up. Cactus arms, this is known as. So elbow as high as the shoulder. Feel like you're pushing the elbows back. You'll feel it's working more into the chest and the upper back already. So we're going to start going to the left. Exhale, we're twisting. Keep the arms in line. Inhale, we return. Other side, exhale. Notice how you use the legs and buttocks a little bit to push yourself. Inhale, return. Again, exhale. Inhale, return. Last one. Inhale, return. Exhale, reach forward, bring the palms together, round the back now, drop the head in. And sit tall. Okay, change over with the legs. And we're going to repeat that. So cactus arms, breath in. To the right side, exhale. Inhale, center. Left side. Inhale, center. Once more, each side. Then the stretch forward, exhale, rounding the back, palms together. Inhale, we're sitting tall. Very good. Okay, taking the legs wide now. So if you are on a hard floor like this, you want to be able to keep your heels on the padding of your mat. If you're on a carpet, it won't matter, okay, because you don't want to be pressing the back of the Achilles down onto the hard floor. If you're very stiff in the legs, it can give you problems, so keep a bit of padding there would be my advice. Okay, now we're going to be stretching inside of the legs and hips now, adductors on the legs particularly, as we are more demanding with the back. Okay, so already, if you're feeling that stretch here, bring the legs in a bit closer so that you're not allowing that posterior tilt of the pelvis, not slumping, where top of the pelvis coming forward, anterior tip and sitting tall. Okay, so like before, take the hands either side of one leg and we lift and we twist the chest to face the chosen leg. So the shoulders are still in line now with this leg. Take the hand on the inside of the leg that you've twisted away from and the other hand behind your waist. Remember we did this one on the chair. Okay, so maybe going a little bit further, twisting towards that back hand, looking over the shoulder of that back hand, and then start to slide the hand down the inside of the other leg. Now, the minute that shoulder of the hand that's behind the back drops forward, you're losing the twist. So keep the shoulder rotating back, even if it means you're very high, because you will be if you tend to be stiffer. You may feel it on the inside of the other leg now. Keep breathing. Think about what's happening with your pelvis. Some of you, the pelvis will have lifted on the free leg side. Okay, and this shows a certain amount of tightness into the lower back and the obliques. If you're very loose and your hand has reached your foot, you can really use that to get a little bit of an extra twist going. And breathe. Inhale up and center. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So we're twisting opposite leg now. Hand inside of the leg. Other hand behind the waist. So we're going on the other side, twisting away towards that back hand. Keep looking in that direction. If you can go the extra, slide the hand down the inside of the leg. Notice if this side feels any different. Maybe the pelvis is lifting or the buttocks lifting on the opposite side. If you've reached the foot, remember you can hold that foot and really try and get a bit more twist going. Keep breathing. Flex the feet if you're very loose. Inhale, we're coming up and center. So if this was my pelvis, what we're trying to do when we do this twist is to keep it really in the centered position. At the moment, because both legs are wide and the attachment for the legs is underneath, and it may be stiffness on these muscles that are coming into the top of the pelvis, as we go to one side, the pelvis leans with us, okay? So we're going to try and prevent that happening by tucking the leg in, okay? So I've tucked my right leg in. You do whichever side is best for you. Just moving my belt. Okay, so right leg for me is tucked in. Left leg is straight, so left hand on the inside of the left leg, right hand behind the waist. Lengthen the spine. Oh, by the way, if the knee is sticking up, you could put a brick underneath that. So we're twisting towards that back hand again, shoulders in line with what is now the straight leg. And then sliding the hand down the leg. So the second time, you may get a bit more stretch anyway, but you'll definitely feel that now down this side where the knee is tucked in, because the pelvis has stayed down. So we're lengthening through here in the front and the back. Keep the twist, keep that rotation, and you could stay here. For those that want the extra, the back arm, reach it up to the ceiling, and then bring the arm next to the ear. Do not let the head dangle. If you want more than that, we're bringing the whole body over, not just the head. Keep looking towards the ceiling underneath the elevated arm if you're doing that. Breathe. On the inhalation, up and center. Very good. Okay, other side. So it makes it much stronger, but it's more effective. Remember, you can support the knee if the knee is sticking up. Okay, last one of these on the other side. Hand behind the waist that matches the bent knee, and then twisting towards that backhand. When you're ready, sliding the hand down the leg. So I know for me, this side, it feels a bit stiffer because I've got a bit of tightness in this left hip, for instance. So it takes me a moment to sort of allow that to release. That could be the same for you. Remember, if you want the extra, you can reach up with the back arm. So really lengthen out of the ribs, the waist, and then bring the arm next to the head before you bring everything over. Keep breathing. On the inhalation, coming up and center. Very good. Okay, stretch the legs out. Give the legs a little bit of a wriggle. Now, ideally, if you know that you need padding for knees, have all that ready. As I say, I've got a cross mat. You could do the same. If you tend to be a bit stiffer into the hips, then I would have bricks and blocks ready near the front of the mat. So I'm going to be doing this straight onto you so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm kneeling up to start off with, making sure the knees are definitely onto the padding, and then I'm striding forward with one leg. So it's a deep lunge I'm coming into, but low lunge. You can feel the stretch on the back leg. I've more or less got a vertical shin here to prevent a bit of cheating, and it's more stable. Okay, so obviously this isn't a twist at the moment, but we're getting there. So we're sinking, stretching out hip flexors on the back leg side currently. Keep breathing. Okay, if we're okay there, we can come forward with the hand. Now, I've got the hand that matches the back leg inside of my front foot, bit of a gap. If you're having to push the hips back to reach the floor, put a brick under your hand, blocks, books, anything like that, so that you can keep the maximum sink forward with the hips. Other hand on the knee, and as you breathe out, we're twisting the chest towards the front knee. If we're okay, reach up with the arm. Keep the knees squeezing in, reaching up, press down into the lower hand, reach into the top hand, sinking the hips towards the floor. Now we're going to be doing this a few times, and I'm going to make it stronger as we go along. Okay, so just the easier one to start with on each side. So bring the top hand down, and then we change sides. Okay, so we're sinking the hips forward, get that stretch going through the quads, hip flexors on the back leg. While we're up, breathe. And then if we're okay, hand down to the floor. Other hand on the top of the knee, just to help you twist the chest around to the leg. So we're trying to keep the knee squeezing in. If we're okay, reaching the arm up, pressing into the lower hand, reaching into the top hand, but keep the hips sinking forward and down. And slowly bring the hand down, and we change it for the other side. Now I'm going to do it side on now, even though we're doing the same thing more or less, okay, with a little bit of add-on for those that want to. So I'm going back to the first leg, sinking the hips forward. Let that stretch happen to start with. Okay, and as before, hand down to the floor. Now some of you, I'm sure, are quite loose, okay, and you could need the bricks and blocks again for this intermediate stage. If you wanted to, bricks and blocks inside the foot, take the elbow to the floor. If you know you can go all the way to the floor and you're still sinking the hips forward and down, that's fine. Hand on the knee, rotate the chest. Okay, if you know that you can, you could hold on to that ankle with the lower hand, keep the knee squeezing in. Reach up. If you want the full stretch, toe tucking, back foot, lift the back knee. Twist. Slowly down back knee, and then pushing yourself up. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So sink the hips first, see how that feels. Hand down if you like. Elbow, if you know you can keep the hips sinking. You could hold like I did before. And twist. Extra, tuck the toes, back foot. Lift the back knee. Slowly down with the back knee. And then pushing yourself up to sitting. Very good. Okay. Give the knees a little massage. Rolling out with the legs. Wriggle out through the legs. Okay. Now we're going to come up to standing. And just give the legs a little paddle out. Just loosening everything off. Okay. Taking the feet wide apart. So we're going to look at Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, which clearly is not a twist, but we're going to be doing a twisting element with it. So I'm going to turn out my front foot, and I'm turning slightly in with the back foot. Now, if the feet were together, it would be more or less this position, but you have to think about how tight you are into the hip. So I've mentioned already, this is my stiff hip. So as I take the feet wide apart, I've got this foot that's turned out in line with the toes because it helps me to keep the pelvis in a better position. If you want your turned out foot in line with your instep, great. Okay, so chest facing the long edge of your mat, more or less. And then we're taking the arms wide. Nice deep lunge if we can. Remember, we don't want to be leaning forward with the spine or the pelvis. We're keeping it nice and upright. Now, Garuda is a stretch for the shoulders, the back, and it's a wrap with the arm. So the arm that matches the back leg, you're going to bring that in. And then the front arm, you're going to wrap under, trying to bring the hands together. If the hands are apart like this, it doesn't matter. But if you can bring the hands together, then do. Lift the elbows in line with the shoulders, if possible, and breathe. So this is your basic. Now watch the balance. We're going to try and take the elbows towards the back foot. A little bit of a twist. Feel it in that back leg. And then the elbows towards the front knee. And then back to center. Keep breathing. Hold it there. Slowly unwrapping. Warrior 2. Very good. Okay, bring the arms down, turning the feet round for the other side. So, nice sink into the hip. Okay, arms wide, Warrior 2. Back arm coming into center. Front arm wrapping under. Might feel different this side. Elbows lifting. Keep breathing. So twisting, taking the elbows towards the back foot. It's hard for me this side. And then towards the front knee. Slowly back to center. And unwrapping. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Marvelous. And releasing the arms. Well done. Take the legs together. Paddle out through the legs. Okay, so we're going to come down to the mat again now. And we're going to do some twists lying on our back, mainly using the legs. And we take it a stage at a time. Okay, so lying down onto the back. Have the knees bent. And the arms wide. Oh, yes, if you've got bricks and blocks, books, etc., cushions, you could have those over your head, and then you can use them for a bit of support if you find some of the twisting a little bit difficult. Okay, what I would say is I'm going to take this into a twist that's in maybe 3 parts. Stick with the first bit and do a really good twist rather than try and progress on to the next bit each time and then you're losing the point of the exercise. Okay, so taking the arms wide, have the inside of the legs touching together and the feet on the floor. Cross your right leg over your left at the thigh. And then lift your bottom, take it to the right side of the mat and down. So the spine is going off at a bit of a tangent. And then keep the left foot on the floor and drop the knees to the left. Let's move my belt. And if they don't go all the way down, and you think, oh, I can't go to the floor, you use your props underneath the legs, like so, and you could stay there. If you know that it's easy, take the legs all the way down. And we're really trying to release that right shoulder toward the floor. So look at the ceiling if it's difficult. If it's easy, look along the right arm. And breathe. This is stage 1. And this is a really good, it's difficult twist, so stay here rather than try and make it any stronger if you know you're stiffer in the legs. Okay, now the lower leg, which should be your left leg, try and slide that away along the mat and push it into the heel. And it could be that, your right knee drops a little bit more towards the floor. And breathe. I'm securing my knee with my left hand. You could do the same. You may feel a bit of a stretch through the outside of the right leg and hip. Now, for those that are looser into the legs, you may want to try and stretch that right leg out, holding the toes or the ankle. Push into the heels. And breathe. Supta Purvita Ardha Chandra. Okay, if you've got the right leg stretched out, bend the right knee. Everybody tuck up the left knee. Keep the left foot on the floor, bring the knees up. Uncross the right leg and lifting back to center. Just take a moment there, just let the back release. Nice breath. We do that on the other side. So legs together, left leg over right. Make sure it's at the thigh, not the ankle on the knee. Bottom up, over to the left and down. Slowly release the knees to the right side. See how that feels. Use the bricks if you need it. Try and relax that left shoulder down. You can look along left arm if it's very simple. If not, just look at the ceiling. So as I say, you may get more of a stretch through here. Next stage is stretching the right leg, the lower leg out, push into the heel. For those that want the full stretch, we're stretching out left leg, hold the toe or the ankle. If you've got the left leg stretched out, bend the knee. And then everybody tuck up the right leg. Keep the right foot on the floor, knees coming towards that ceiling. Uncross the top leg and lift yourself back to center. Take a few breaths. Okay, coming on to hands and knees now. Aha. Make sure again you've got the padding for the knees. Now, cat position, we want the wrist underneath the shoulder and the knees underneath the hip. Bit of a gap maybe between the knees. And we want to make sure we're not sagging in the shoulders, we're pressing down firmly. So you may have done these lots of times before, commonly called threading the needle. Only go as low as you feel comfortable. So I'm taking my left hand between the right wrist and right knee, sliding the left hand along the floor, bending the right elbow to drop the shoulder towards the floor. Inhale, I'm coming back up. And we do the other side. Exhale, sliding the hand through. Inhale, coming up. Okay, 3 more on each side. If you want to, you can add on the arm lift and hand down. So that means you've got to take the shoulder right to the floor and lift the arm that was supporting you and slowly bring it back. Okay, so take it at your pace, just stick with the basic. Any shoulder issues or upper back issues, this might be quite difficult to lift the arm. When you've done your last one, right arm through and under the body. Take a bigger gap between the knees and sit back towards the heels. Pose of the child. You can either have the arms alongside the legs, resting the head down, or if that's too much weight forward, cross the arms in front of the body and rest your head on the arms. If you've got a long body like me, that's often really much more comfortable because it's a lot of pressure on the head otherwise. Okay, and then coming back up. Let me check the time. Okay, so time to do our last exercise, which is the strongest one, I would say, probably of the whole class, but that's all relative because it just depends on how tight we are in various areas. And we're going to take it to plank. Now, I've gone through plank before on previous weeks when we looked at core, but it's really making sure that we've got that tail tucked under, so it's a posterior tilt this time with the pelvis, making sure that we're really working through the abs, okay? So come towards the front of your mat with your hands. We're pressing firmly into the palms. If this is not for you, then you can do one of the previous exercises. So stretch one leg back and place the ball of the foot down onto the floor and push into the heel. As you do that, tighten up through the thigh, a little bit in the buttock and the abs. If your shoulder is now not over your wrist, adjust the length of your position. Then match that with the opposite leg. So basic plank, and have the legs together. Hold that for a couple of breaths. Okay, bring the knees down, and if necessary, take a rest off the hands. Okay, now we're going to bring that into a twist, which I find quite effective in the mid-back, so the thoracic section, which is where we can't really get much twisting going on. And we do it by keeping the hands down, but working the feet. So you've got to have the legs together. So I'm taking it back to my plank. Watch me for this one if you like. So I'm rolling to the outer edge of my foot, keeping the other one stacked on top and sinking the hips a little bit. Bring it back to my toes and then do the same other side. Okay, so we're not lifting the hand. Try that for yourself. Squeezing the abs as you go to the side. Feet stacking, not one in front of the other. Not letting it drift away. Keep flexing the feet. Keep sinking the hips. Last time. And then when you've finished, take a good rest. Wriggle out the wrists. Well done. So it's time for relaxation now. So those socks that you discarded, like I did, you want to gather those up. Any jumpers on. You want to be warm. Use a little blanket if you like. You can use eye pillows if you find that useful. And then we're just lying down on the mat in Shavasana. Corpse pose. So slipping on the socks. Especially in this weather, you know, it's a bit frosty today, so you want to make sure you don't cool down too quickly. Now, you could have the knees bent, like I had at the beginning, if that's more comfortable for you. But if you can have the legs flat, really this is Shavasana. Bit of a gap between the legs and a gap between the arms and the sides of the body. Tuck the chin in. If you find that difficult, you could put a little block or blanket underneath your head. And then closing the eyes and just take a few breaths. Allowing the heart rate to settle. The breath to soften. And just like we did in the beginning, as you breathe out, just roll the head slowly to one side. Inhale, bring it center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, center. Let the head feel heavy. Softening around the eyes, the cheeks, and through the jaw. So maybe the back teeth are slightly apart. Softening through the neck. Both shoulders sinking down as you release the arms and the hands. And your breath flowing easily in and out now. Softening the buttocks. The long thigh muscles easing off. Both legs feeling heavy all the way down to the heels. And releasing right to the toes. And then through the nose, take a nice long deep breath in. And a full sigh out. Inhale, lifting arms up. Exhaling over the head. Nice stretch, whatever's good for you. And then bending the knees. You could hug the knees up if you like. Little rock. Slowly up to sitting. Sitting nice and tall. Remember, you can use your props if you need to. Really lengthen the spine. Take the arms either side. Spread the fingers. Inhale, reaching wide and up. Hands together. Exhale to heart center. Tuck the chin. Namaste. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I say, I'll be back next week at 10 o'clock. It is now every week, in case you missed it and you're watching this on a rerun. And there's a little button below where you can subscribe. Thank you. I can see people saying thank you very much. Lovely to see you, Emma. Lovely. Oh, Fran, thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.